Hi Karen, thanks for having a chat with me today about your experience with Tania Gomez Consulting. Why you decided to engage a consultant in the first place? What were the challenges you were having at MyLife Housing that made you think that maybe having a consultant to help with compliance was a good idea?
We started quite slow, and as we scaled and started to grow and started to add more sort of people to the organisation, we needed more focus on our policies and procedures. It's great to have them, but to ensure that we actually use them and live and breathe our policies and procedures is really important. The day-to-day can sometimes get in the way. We get so busy and focused on servicing the participants that we kind of forget to go back and ensure that registers are kept maintained or that we're doing what our policy says that we need to do. And so we kind of got to a point where we thought, okay, let's get someone in who can just keep us in check and making sure that we're doing what we're meant to be doing.
And we've really looked at keeping you compliant between your audit points.
That's right.
What was that experience like, and what did that look like between your audits and keeping things compliant?
We came out of our previous audit with a few things that we needed to address. Having you on board and working through those minor non-conformities really helped us understand, what is it that we needed to do to improve. It allowed us to work through the policies and procedures and actually make them work for the business rather than just have a set of documents that just sit there. It allowed us to actually work through what makes sense to follow, and if the process or a procedure doesn't make sense, let's talk about how we actually adapt it or change it or even delete it if it's not practical or if it doesn't make sense. We went from having this, what's the next auditor going to ask us to do and what do we need to be ticking. We went from a checklist approach to, right, let's sit down and understand what does make sense, what do we need to implement. It really helps us to go back and be quite thorough in even sort of doing a checklist of what are things that are outstanding, what are things that we've not been proactive in seeking from participants, from support providers. It enabled us to do a really good audit, and having you in that process really sort of drove that and made sure that we stayed on task through the process.
And how would you describe the process of working with me?
It's been really efficient. We get on a call, we discuss what's required. I'm amazed at your ability to talk and type and take notes and then schedule actions all at the same time. I think it's a phenomenal skill. It's helped us to be a lot more efficient, and sometimes you can sit on these long calls, come out and think, right, okay, what do I got to do, and get to the next week and not have anything that you have actioned or even understand what was yours to action to begin with. You've been amazing at making sure that actions are delegated, people know what they've got to do, and then a time frame to come back and do it in. And I think it's made us really stay focused and on task.
And do you feel more confident leading up to your next audit?
Absolutely, yes. Compared to how we felt in the lead up to our previous audit, I thought I was sitting the HSC again. This time around, I think we're doing exactly what we need to, and I think it'll be a much more smooth process.
Yeah, I feel like you've definitely owned the quality and compliance piece, and you're now like in the driver's seat.
That's right.
Ready. And I feel like if there was anything that the auditor was to challenge, it so well now that you would be able to argue the point confidently that you are doing the right things for all of these reasons.
That's right. And I also think it's been great for the team to go through this journey, because often when you onboard them when they first start, you say, please read the policies and procedures, but you don't want it to just be documents that get ticked. And so going through this process with you and them in the room and them actually doing their actions is really helping them to understand why these things are in place, and it starts to become part of their day-to-day thinking. So it's definitely been a good exercise for everybody.
Has having someone focus on compliance externally allowed you to focus more on providing supports, being the SDA provider?
Yes, it has. We do tend to find that as an SDA provider, we tend to be caught in the sort of fighting fires and the detail of the job, making sure that we get back to participants on a timely manner, ensuring that we're doing ingoings and outgoing. We're making sure that we're staying compliant and filling out the registers. So often we're so busy doing the maintenance that we're not going back and actually writing it all as in the registers. So having someone sort of push us along and hold us accountable to these actions is definitely an easier way to do it. So we've really enjoyed it, and we think that we've become a lot more productive, and we've asked us to have our procedures and policy at the forefront of what we're doing rather than thinking about it retrospectively.
And often SDA providers or NDIS providers generically, you have a really finite overhead to work with. Have you found that having a compliance consultant to walk you through this journey is a good investment of those funds?
Definitely. I mean, as you said, our margins are pretty small, and so if I'm going to hire a resource just to do what you've done for us, it would obviously be a lot less efficient and financially more cost prohibitive than outsourcing it to a consultant.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely value for money.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Pleasure. Thank you.